Welcome back to your hour. Joining me now is Paul Rosales from REMAX Realty Professionals, and we've talked about a number of different aspects of home buying. But you have among different aspects of it, you have different reasons for.
Right, right. As we all know, college is not getting any cheaper. It's going to get more and more and more expensive, and people are trying to figure out how the heck they're going to pay for this. And let me start by saying I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a tax expert, so before you delve into something like this, make sure you talk to a tax advisor or a financial planner or somebody that you trust to handle your financial future. A real simple concept of being able to put a kid through college is if you just had a child, go out and buy an affordable house right now, maybe a $30, $40, or $50,000 house. Over the next 18 years, that house is going to appreciate in value. You rent that house over 18 years, and if you structure your loan properly, you're going to have that house most likely paid off at the end of 18 years. At the end of 18 years, you're able to either sell the house, take the proceeds out of that house to help pay for college, or you can take out a loan against the house. Most likely, like I mentioned, if you've got the loan structure right and you have your rental fees structured properly, you're going to own that house free and clear in 18 years. So you either take out the loan to help fund the kids' college, or you sell the house to help fund the kids' college. If you keep the house, then you can use the funds in the future for the future rentals to start preparing the funding for your retirement, because that's probably the next most expensive thing, if not the most expensive thing folks are going to do outside of actually buying a large house they're going to live in for a while. So the first step, buy the house and then let that house fund the kids' college. And then if you want to, you keep the house. And over the next few years, you allow that house, the loan that you took out against the house, to get paid off with the rents. At the end of that, once it's paid off again, you can do the same thing. You actually have an additional option. You can either sell the house and live off the proceeds, you can take out a loan against the house and live off those proceeds, or you can keep the house free and clear and simply live off the rental proceeds. If you have 3 kids and you do this with 3 separate houses, and you may have a 25-year period where you started having kids to the time you end, or excuse me, from the time you bought to the time it's cleared out, that's a great way to be able to not only afford college using other people's money, but it's also a great way to begin the funding of your retirement. Because if you have a $50,000 house now, and looking at the way housing appreciates in Wichita, which we're real lucky in this market, we still have appreciation over a 25-year period, or if you're going to own the house for 30 or 40 years until you finally retire, that's a great way to be able to do it, and you actually have a hard asset there, as opposed to, right now the stock market's incredibly volatile, and it may not be what you want it to be 30 years from now. Whereas with that hard asset, even if, God forsake, it burns to the ground because of faulty electrical or whatever it might be, you've got an insurance policy on it. You're not really going to have an insurance policy exactly like that with stocks or anything like that, of that nature. So again, a great way to be able to afford your paying kids college. Buy a small house now, let your renters pay it off, refinance the property or sell the property, and then if you keep it, when it's time to retire, you sell the property, you refinance the property, or you'll probably own it free and clear again if you structure everything properly, and just live off the free and clear mortgages. Now, a lot of people don't like the idea of being a landlord. You can go on ahead, if you want to have that step away from owning the properties, you go ahead and you hire a property management company.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them out there, and they'll charge you, they're different, anywhere 7 to 10% of whatever your rent is. So if you're taking in $500 a month rent, which would be low, I would think, for a house of that price, probably more like $800, you'll probably pay them $80 a month to be able to take care of everything from maintenance calls at 3 in the morning, to screening people, to evicting people, to doing other maintenance around the property. And you essentially let them manage the property for it. You're going to want to keep an eye on them, make sure they're doing the proper job for you, make sure you are making money at the deal. But if you don't like the idea of being a landlord, you can still be a landlord without having to go through all the less fun parts of being a landlord, and still be able to utilize this type of method to be able to hopefully fund your college for your children, or for your retirement, or both.
Well, there's another option too. If your child decides not to go to college and you can't get them out of the house, then you just kick them on into the house that you have.
I don't know if you'd want to do that. How do you evict them? It'd be kind of hard if they stop paying.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, instead of using that house for their college fund, then just deed the house over to them and let that become their new address and their problem.
Well, I think I would keep it for my own retirement, though, because there's
Okay.
2 steps to what I'm
Well,
talking about.
I don't know. It just depends on how bad you want your kid out of the house.
I changed the locks. But, what we're talking about here is a great way to use other people's money. You use your credit to buy the house. And then who pays the monthly mortgage on it? It's not you. It's the renters. And I tell people you ought to go ahead and keep abreast of where your former renters have gone. And when you retire, mail them a letter and say thank you. I know that's being a bit facetious, but essentially you're funding 2 major expensive portions of your life, and you're not really paying anything. You're profiting off of the deal.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a financial planner. Talk to whoever you need to talk to, tax advisor, financial planner, but at least consider this method for being able to finance those two upcoming events.
Well, thanks for joining us, Paul. It's always fun having you
Yep,
here.
thanks.
And we'll be back in a couple of minutes with Dina Graham, and we're going to be visiting some movies that you might want to see this weekend. So don't go anywhere.